Hi, welcome to Supervision with a Vision. Today, Heather and I are talking about feeling average. This week, we read Why Most Americans Believe They Are Middle Class, published in Psychology Today 2024. Heather, you and I just talked through this just really briefly, and we said that the article is talking about middle class, and we're using the word average.
Right.
Okay. So one of the first points is that most people think that they are average. Do you think that's true?
I think there could be a good argument for it.
Mm-hmm.
I think people don't tend to want to be on the outskirts.
Okay, so it's uncomfortable, you think?
Maybe.
And so people think that they're average because it's uncomfortable to think that we're not average.
I think people as a group tend to have that whole group thing.
Yeah.
These are the things that an average family has, or these are the things that
what
an
if we
average...
don't? What if we said that it's more comfortable to feel like we fit in?
Right. Yes. Perfect.
Okay. So if we're talking about counseling and counseling supervision, what do you think happens? What's the dynamic that happens when people think, supervisees specifically, think they're average, they fit in with everybody else? So do you think supervisees think that for the most part they think I'm just like every other supervisee?
I think they do. At least my experience recently in one of our group meetings, I think that is a comfort zone.
Oh, I definitely think all supervisees are looking for the comfort zone.
Right. And that's very, very comfortable. If I have several supervisees right now, but this group in particular, they are all right around the 2,000 mark. So they've still got 1,000 hours left to go, but they are, in my point of view, competent and comfortable. And there's a certain, but one person later messaged me and had
Oh.
I feel like I was having, I'm not as good as them. It just,
Oh, it was really uncomfortable
Right.
to feel like, for even just a short amount of time, that they weren't fitting in.
Right.
I said, yeah, I feel like a lot of supervisees are looking for the comfort zone. I think being a supervisee involves a lot of really uncomfortable situations.
Yes.
So to be able to feel, at least some of the time, like, whew, I'm good, I fit in, I'm average, I'm right where I'm supposed to be, is something that they're looking for.
Right. I think it's a validation point that they may not say to us,
yeah,
just tell me I'm average. But I do think they're looking for that, reassurance, maybe is a good word, or that almost like you would tell me if I'm not, right?
Yeah,
that
reassurance.
Kind of,
I do like the word reassurance really fits. I think in thinking that they're kind of where everybody is at, you and I have often said that sometimes our job as the supervisor is to let them know, to be really clear about expectations. Otherwise, they continue moving forward with whatever their definition of average is, or their expectation of fitting in is. That maybe, a more specific example would be, if what you want in supervision is not what they've experienced before.
Oh, that's a great example.
You are clear to help them know what it is that you do expect, because their version of fitting in or average or typical is not your version.
Right.
So you have to explain it a little bit.
Yeah, and I think typical is another good word to go off of. We recently had a conversation about note-taking. And the three people that I was talking to do notes very differently. One of them has to use a specific form at their location where they're doing their hours, and so there is no leeway. They have to do it a certain way. They are told what kind of notes to do. The two others have very different styles and different approaches, so their notes look differently, and they all were very much like, oh, and this is also okay, but she didn't talk about goals.
Right.
Or something, but I think typical is a great word.
I think I had a supervisee, it's been a while now, and I think it took her a while to say this in supervision, but she finally kind of fessed up, that she was getting critical feedback at work, that they were not happy with her note taking.
Okay.
And I said, okay, well, let's look at them. Show me what this note looks like. And she drug her feet. I think I had to ask several times before I got a version of her note. It was a short story.
Oh,
it was really long.
Okay.
And when I went, oh, I see. And she went, what? Isn't this what everybody's doing? No.
Nope.
No, but this is an easy solution. I mean,
Right. This
I
is an
think
easy fix.
an
Yeah.
easy fix. I mean, just here, let me help you make your life easier
Right. Your
by,
notes now will not take you an hour.
and that's really what they were. I, I, I mean, through deduction,
Right.
determined that they were complaining or giving critical feedback about her notes, but really it was her time management. Um, and she couldn't figure out why. That also felt that's a good example of why she thought she was average, and it was uncomfortable that she felt like she was not average, because it appeared to her as though all her coworkers could accomplish so much more at work,
Okay.
and she just didn't understand why.
Right. How are you fitting all that in?
Right. How can you do all this?
Right.
And the issue was that her notes were taking her hours and hours and hours.
Right.
Just to accomplish. I mean, the note that she showed me was filled more than one page.
Oh my.
And she was running a lot of groups.
Oh,
and
wow.
so this was the one she showed me was an individual session note. And I said, what's happening with your group notes? And she said, they look the same. So
that's exhausting.
Right. A group that could include like 10 people, all 10 people are getting a note like this.
Wow. Okay.
Whew, no wonder.
Yeah.
This feels like it's overwhelming. So we're saying most people feel comfortable thinking that they fit in, they're average,
right,
and that they do that because it feels comfortable.
Right. It's comfortable.
Okay. The next point is that people call themselves average even when they know they're not.
Right.
Do you think that happens, that people are calling themselves average even when they kind of know that they're not?
I think that if you're fantastic and above the curve of whatever average is as a supervisee, like you just got your stuff together and you're doing great, you don't want to be average. You don't want to be by yourself because it's scary out there. You don't want to be on the edge of something that's like, and I think some people may enjoy that, the accolades that come with that. But I think typically, especially in supervision, or supervisees are like, that's they don't want the spotlight.
Oh. I was thinking, okay, people call themselves average even when they're not, or even when they are aware that maybe they're not. That I think, at least culturally in the United States, there's this tricky balance that people want acknowledgement, and also we're told that is what's the descriptor for wanting, like it is bragging, or it's boasting,
right, if you are looking for that,
right. So I think sometimes people would call themselves average when they know they're not, because they don't want to appear as though they're patting their own back.
And I think it happens on the flip side as well.
Okay.
People that maybe are struggling and they're not quite up to, you know, what average would be for a supervisee.
They don't want to draw attention.
Right. They don't want to draw. They want to just like keep your head down and keep working. Eventually you'll get there, you know, kind
of. So you think in supervision, someone would not say, I'm struggling, or I think I'm not very good at this. Not that no one would do that, but there's a chance that people would avoid doing that for not wanting to draw attention.
Have you ever asked your supervisees, what are they not good at?
I think I ask it, but maybe in a different way. I think I ask them what's something that they'd like to work on, or what's something they think they could improve on, something like that. I think then they're critical.
Oh,
I think that then they'll
critical.
name some things.
Right.
But I wonder if that is also a power dynamic between the supervisor and the supervisee. That if a supervisee came in and said, I am the world's most awesome CBT counselor, that they might feel compared to or judged by their supervisor, who is a supervisor, so by definition automatically has more years of experience, and maybe they don't do it for that reason.
Maybe. That's a good thought.
How many supervisees do you have that have ever come in and said, let me tell you, Heather, I am awesome at this one part of being a counselor? Many?
I don't think any.
I think I've had a couple, and it almost always has not been how I would have described
that.
You're
like, oh.
Right. Like maybe I can remember someone saying, you know, like, oh, my notes are awesome. And then when I look at them, I think,
They're
I
fine.
don't know. Yeah. Or maybe they've been told that they're awesome because they meet all the requirements of a job, a specific
Right.
job,
Right.
but not necessarily something that I would call good quality.
Mm-hmm. That you're reminding me of a conversation I had this week. Um, Billable minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So asking those, working at clinics to have billable minutes and what that looks like for their time. And I find it, first of all, the terminology funny because it sounds like a lawyer.
Yes,
like
it does.
how
Yeah.
many minutes did you spend with this, or how many minutes did you do this? And it was very much done in joking manner, but she came into supervision and she's like, "Hey, I did it." And I'm like, "What did you do?"
Yeah.
She's like, "I hit that 70-minute mark. I have 70 billable minutes." And I was like, 70 billable minutes for what? And she's like, "I found a way to trick the system." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Like, I mean, she was very
So
excited about
funny.
this, right? Like, this is, so she found a way to make sure that she was consulting with parents outside the hour of the kiddos that she was seeing so that she could then bill those 20 minutes that she was talking to each parent. So she hit 70 billable minutes for, I don't remember how many clients. And I was like, how is that even an expectation that's normal? Speaking of like
Right.
average, like that's not normal.
Mm-hmm.
In the real world, no one's walking around talking about how many billable minutes they had
minutes.
for a client.
Yeah, weird.
Unless you're a lawyer.
Right, right. Or expectations of jobs.
Oh,
How many
yes.
times like 70 billable minutes
Mhm.
or whatever is determined
Right.
as a really good note or a skill that you think that is not translatable to any other place or job you will ever
Right.
have.
Right.
Like, what would be a good, I don't know. I mean, just something that's so benign or
Mhm.
silly or, I am really good at
Right.
something. You're like, but that's so not what it means to be a counselor.
Right. Right. Just like a tangent,
Mhm.
like a side of being a counselor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so people calling themselves average when really they're not. Maybe that they are below average and they don't want to acknowledge it.
Right.
That because it's embarrassing
Mhm.
or points out what they feel like is a flaw. Or they're calling themselves average when they're above average because they don't want to stand out in that way either. Or that it feels funny in a power dynamic kind
Right.
of way with someone who, like the supervisor or even a coworker that has more experience.
Right.
And then that sometimes our supervisees get focused on expectations that really are not actually important.
Right. They're not. They're
Really,
just not.
in the world of being a counselor,
Right.
they're not. Maybe in the part of you that's an employee, it might be important, but it's
Right.
not a part of being a counselor that's very
Like a counseling
important.
skill. Yeah.
Okay, the final point in our article is what are the benefits or drawbacks of thinking that you are average when maybe you're not?
So I think if you're not on the side, if you're not there yet, right, as a supervisee, you're not quite to the average level.
Mm-hmm.
If you know that about yourself, the one benefit to calling yourself average is that you'll keep pushing. Like you'll keep striving for that next little hurdle. Maybe. I mean, possibly. But I'm not sure on the same side that there isn't just as strong of a drawback to
I was
calling
going to say,
yourself.
let's stick with, I do not think I made myself think about the benefits before we started. So what if we stick with that for a second?
Okay.
Benefits that you push yourself more because you're
wanting
reaching for
Right.
average. Okay. Other benefits. Maybe a false sense of confidence that helps you.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that there's some to that with a new counselor that you might think, I have never done this, I don't know how to do this, but if you feel like you've got a little rush of confidence and you get yourself to do it, then you've done it.
You can do it again.
Right. Okay, so push yourself, or maybe some imagined confidence that is a benefit to you. I mean, I don't know the last time I told a client that I was really bad at doing something in counseling that we then had a really great interaction. So if I said, I am really bad at talking to parents. Let's go start our parent consultation.
Right. That would not go very well.
Doesn't build confidence in your client.
Right.
In what you're doing.
So
maybe sometimes I can do this, and then yep, I have worked with you as this type of client before, is a benefit.
Right. Those are good benefits.
Can you think of any others? It feels hard to me to think of benefits of thinking that you're average when you're actually not. What about that's when you're reaching, right? What if you are exceptional in some way, but you're saying I'm average. Is there a benefit to that?
I started to say maybe in only the case of not being so full of yourself that you would come off,
Well, what if we say overselling?
right.
Not
Not
overselling
overselling
yourself?
yourself. Just like this is what I do. And if you're in a good groove and doing a great thing, even if you're above the curve, maybe that just, if you don't really own it, it just keeps you doing what you're like.
Well, I mean, I guide people towards not doing this. I think that most people do. If you give some kind of guarantee in counseling,
Right.
that is not, I believe that that's unwise.
Right.
That for whatever reason you can't fulfill the guarantee, or maybe, so if you say, I can cure anyone of their depression in 3 sessions or less, and it just doesn't happen,
Right.
that that would certainly be a benefit to you to not say something like that,
Right.
to not
Right.
oversell. Any other benefit? Maybe humbling, and you're more open to learning.
Right. Maybe you just need more of that. Yeah.
So when you are in supervision, maybe you think, well, my supervisor isn't as versed in CBT, but they do know a lot about this.
Right.
And so I have plenty to learn from them.
Right. I still have options here.
Yeah, even if I feel like I'm pretty good at CBT, but there's a lot of other things I have to learn.
Right.
That might be a benefit to them.
That might be really beneficial.
Drawbacks to thinking that you're average when you are either below or above average.
Well, if you are below and you're calling yourself average and you think you're just like getting by, then are you like really trying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're telling everyone, yep, that's how we all do it, yep, and you're just barely hitting the bare minimum. Then...
Like, what about a supervisee who reaches their hours, and that in Texas, that would mean that they have been out of school for a minimum 1.5 years,
right.
On average 2 years. A supervisee that finishes that, gets to that milestone and thinks, ding, I'm done.
Right. Ta-da!
I am a fully cooked counselor. I think that's dangerous.
Very dangerous.
That while it is certainly a milestone, an important milestone, it's not the end of learning.
Well, I was going to say, hopefully by then they have learned that this career we're in is
right.
forever learning.
Right. But I think that's a drawback to
Huge
someone
drawback.
Who thinks like, yep, done, did that, moving,
Right.
Whew, glad I never have to learn anything again. Feels dangerous.
Yeah, feels very dangerous.
Drawbacks to thinking you're average when you're actually maybe below average. Maybe you take on, I feel like I see this a lot, or even a new counselor is expected to do this. Take on a client or a situation that is overwhelming or too complex.
Right. And they just don't have those skills yet, but they think that they need to, or they think
that they're ready.
Right.
Or that the agency or the setting that they're at thinks that they're ready. When I was supervising counselors that were still in school, so they were very, very early on into their clinical experience. Occasionally I would have someone who was left alone in the building as the last clinician and thought, well, sometimes that happens and that's okay for you. And I would think, I want to be more protective of you as a brand new counselor, that even if you think I expect nothing unusual to happen, having a just in case backup plan is nice. It's important. Or in my own experience, the very first family session I ever had was really not, now I would not think was terribly contentious or a dramatic problem. It was mom, dad, and 3 young kids.
Okay.
The challenge was the kids were very different developmentally in age. So then I'm managing 5 people, which is a lot of people when you're a new counselor, and 5 people that had very different levels of understanding and need. Right. Big challenge. And the agency I was working with did not provide me a whole lot of background information about the family.
Ah, okay.
Those felt like big challenges, and I did not nail it. I did not hit a home run that night with that family, but I also didn't do the worst. Right. But had I been able maybe to advocate for myself with the agency and say, I think I could use some support the first time around, or I think I need something to help me
Mm-hmm.
be ready would have been a big benefit.
Right. And it could have helped just smooth the waters.
Mm-hmm. So, um, thinking you're average or calling yourself average when maybe you're not quite
Mm-hmm.
has some drawbacks. What if you're actually exceptional and you're calling yourself average? What's the drawback?
I mean, maybe you're missing out on something
Mm-hmm.
that you could, if you are exceptional,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe you're missing out on the next opportunity because you're just trying to clump yourself in
Yeah.
with being average.
Or, I mean, certainly there's a point in your career where you specialize in something and then you are exceptional.
Right. Because you, right, you did
But
it.
if you never do, what
Right.
if you've earned, you've been through a training, you've earned a credential, and you don't ever use it?
Oh, yeah.
Or you don't ever, I mean, use the experience or the training, but
Right.
also you don't ever use the title?
Right.
Then how would you attract or
Those clients for that need.
Mhm,
Right.
mhm.
Right. That could be a huge drawback.
Or you don't ever land the job that's the best fit for you or that you enjoy the most because you don't ever say, actually,
Right. I have this.
Mhm.
Yeah. That could be a drawback.
do you think counselors specifically have a hard time acknowledging if they're exceptional in something?
That's a great question. I would say as a whole, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But I have seen counselors out there that
Don't have any
don't
issue?
have any issues at all.
True. True. Well, thanks today for listening to Supervision with a Vision. Heather and I would love to hear about how you support your supervisees to see how they are exceptional and or things that they could grow on. And as always, we'd love to hear recommendations for upcoming episodes.